I will present to you the roadmap for 2021, but things need to be clear. We have started to prepare that roadmap during the year, and the strategic plan and all the activities that will come from the work of the task force will, of course, have influences on the roadmap. That is why I just recall to you the organization of the strategic plan and the 24 objectives of this strategic plan. The current work presented yesterday by Marc Bernard around the task force and the Delphi study that we are working on, that will be continued for a few weeks because it's long run work. And so this year, we have to confess that we will propose a kind of continuation of activities since several years during the coming years, in line with the action carried out before in 2020, of course, and in the context of the strategic plan. That means in the context of what will happen in the task force. So next year, we will have a roadmap that will be driven by the plan of action derived from the strategic plan. But this year, it's kind of hybrid concept, trying to work on the base of the continuation of what we have done before, and also linking this activity with the various objectives. And so we continue to work with the STC, and we already have some recommendation and discussion before. Also working on the collaborative platform and its operation. The work with the public and private funders will be continued. We will maybe strengthen the regional level work of the initiative. Continue to contribute to the international debate on carbon sequestration, and develop the communication part. So in order to make the link with the strategic plan, I proposed to you during that presentation, and it was the case in the document that was proposed for that point of the agenda, to indicate in red in my slides the objective to which the activity that I propose is directly linked. That could be one objective or several objectives. So we will continue the work and the research orientation and the scientific cooperation through the STC work. Of course, continue to work on the precise inventory on the research action currently conducted. And as it was just said before by Jean-Luc, try to find out, make kind of benchmarking with the other initiative and see how we are situated for the action, not only of the STC, but also concerning the scientific work carried on carbon sequestration. So we will also continue the work with what will be after Circasa. We will have this discussion with Jean-François Souzana later on during this meeting. What is the next step and what kind of collaboration we could have with the IRC, and working also continuing the work that was started by Circasa on the mapping of hotspots. And it was said yesterday that the FAO and some other actors are working on this very important hotspot of carbon sequestration. Potential is higher in the world, to be sure to address in priority those spots. Concerning the project evaluation, we will continue the work carried on during the last years about the international call for projects. We had a very strong discussion during the last STC meeting, because some members were not agree with the fact to continue to assess project, that they consider that it's not really the work of the STC. Some others consider this is important. In the Secretariat, we consider that it is a very important activity. So we have to find a new way to work on that, maybe find some people that can help us pre-assessing the project and ask the STC to validate this assessment. So we will see that in the future, but definitely we will continue on that. Working also on the existing tools to facilitate the self-assessment by project holders with FAO and with CDP. And we will try also to promote more the fact that the project evaluation set of criteria and reference that the STC worked on in the previous year being used more in the certification scheme and the project evaluation by other funders in their own process. So it was said yesterday again during the high-level segment that this is one of our major results that we had in the 4 per mil initiative, and we should use it more widely. So we will try to do our best to do so. And finally, we continue the work of the STC about all what was done around the strategic plan and the involvement of the STC member in the task force and the follow-up activities on the strategic plan. Then working also on some synthesis document on the scientific aspects of the 4 per mil initiative. Well, we will continue to work on the book, but not only, work also on the possibility to have a document concerning the implementation and elaboration of good practices that was proposed by FAO. And for instance, the STC contribute to the review work that was done for that very important document, and contribute also to work in the harmonization and standardization of measuring MRV soil carbon. It was said just before, this is very important for us to continue on that work, because there is a real demand on that to be able to follow up what's going on in the field at the field level. On the collaborative platform, we had a very strong progress, as I said before, with the version 2.0. I really invite all the members to use the platform and to go on the platform, check the information that are available there. All the work carried on by the STC and other are there. We are preparing the various meetings over there. You can have place where you can choose to have your own page to prepare project collaboration with others. So this is a very powerful tool, and really I encourage you to use it more widely than it is. We still have progress to do in that matter, but even though there are many members that are starting to use it widely. We'll continue that work around the geographic location of members and partners, and we want on this platform to have really one identity card, if I may say that, identity document for each of the members and partners, that they were able to say what they are doing, what kind of collaboration they are looking for in order to develop those kind of partnership. And of course, we would like to use that platform more widely, but it is already the case, to work within each college with the help of the members of the bureau that are issued and elected by those colleges. We are still working on the creation of a group of friends of the 4 per mil. It's not so easy because the platform is only for members and partners. And if we have the friends of the 4 per mil, that could be individuals that could be on the platform. It's very interesting in one hand, but it could be maybe a little bit confusing in the other. So we continue to work and discuss on that to find the best way to work on that aspect. We will continue the work with the public and private funders, and continue the donor awareness and fundraising campaign that we started last year. We continue it this year, but it's not enough. Our budget is still low, but we also would like to develop and encourage the partners and members and others to fund projects in the field, to implement and to scale up all the good practices that are really now existing all over the world. And we need your support to do so, because this is not the aim of the 4 per mil initiative to fund project. And we receive a lot of requests for foundation of project, but we have not means to do that, and it's not our goal. So we would like the funders to help us, and mainly when we have the call for project assessment, we have identified every year 4 or 5 projects that are really nice and need to be pushed. So all those information are at your disposal. If you are a funder, if you are interested by such a project, positively assessed by the STC, and we are ready to provide you those projects and be in touch with the project holder in order to fund them. They are just expecting that, and we hope that you will hear and listen to my call on that specific aspect. So last year, we had the decision by the consortium that we could continue to develop the idea of having a foundation for the 4 per mil. We have a little bit stopped that activity because this year, because of the change of hosting entity of the Secretariat, we need to explore with the Alliance the existing possibility that we have through the Alliance to receive money from the private sector and from other various, even individual, that could maybe solve one part of the problem that was at the origin of the decision to create a foundation. So we just have to we need a little bit more time to be sure that we need to create this foundation, because it will be a lot of work and it will need a new team to work on that specific foundation. So before going in that deeply, we would like to see what could be the possibility to work with the Alliance. And of course, we will continue the work with the Green Finance and the Carbon Market Initiative. We did a lot this year. It was said yesterday by Cornelia about that what we organized with the World Bank, the CCAFs, and the TNC, the MRV workshop that we had for funders. And it was very interesting, and we will continue that work because there is still a lot of to be done on that specific aspects. Then we'll continue to push the initiative at the level of the regions. We continue to organize regional meetings. We will come back to the North America regional meeting that we had this year, and we will speak about the one for Latin America that we will have next year. But we still need to have a kind of organization at the regional level. Maybe we can discuss with FAO and GSP to work with them on the regional entity that they already have in place, or build our own one. We have to decide that, but we will need to check that deeply this year again. On the work will continue on the contribution to the international debate on carbon sequestration in soil, continue to participate in meeting, symposia and the conference, STC members, executive secretariat members, and all of us are in charge of that. And it is very important because this is the best way to have this initiative well known all over the world and in various fora. We receive a lot of demand to be part of or the scientific committee or a steering committee or such and such initiative or work. That's a very good sign. It means that the initiative is really recognized and that we have things to say and things to bring to the various initiative and fora. What else? We will try to continue to work on the Coronivia process, as it was said before and proposed by Jean-Luc. Yes, definitely, the STC and the initiative will continue to invest in that specific aspect. And finally, on the communication, well, there are a lot of things to do. We already did a lot and continue to do a lot nowadays, but we had a very strong work done on the strategic watch by our consultant. This is mainly for internal purpose, but we would like to have it more widely broadcast to the other. It's just a kind of overview of what's going on in different review and magazines and newspaper all over the world, or even on the website, and in Spanish, in French, and in English. And it's very interesting to see that the initiative is more and more mentioned in those papers. And well, not only to say that we are the best and we're doing a very good job, sometimes also to criticize, but this is the game, that's normal. That's part of our work also. But it's really interesting to see that people are looking closely at the work we are doing, and we start having an impact, and this is very, very important for us. Well, and we continue the work on the social networks. This is also a very important thing, and the newsletter. And maybe find a new way to have a newsletter next year with a new website, maybe a new newsletter, an electronic one, more than a PDF, which is not really electronic, which is kind of electronic and paper. So we'll continue that work. And as I said, you have seen the various objectives mentioned. all the time in relation with the strategic plan. So I was long enough, but it need to be presented in a long way. Mr. Chairman, I give you the floor for the question.
Merci, Paul, pour cette présentation détaillée avec l'ensemble des objectifs de la feuille de route de 2021 qui reprennent et précisent d'ailleurs les questions qui avaient pu être posées sur les relations entre l'initiative et les enjeux des institutions internationales, sur la question, bien sûr, des mesures et des relations à maintenir avec les initiatives régionales, et puis surtout à la fin, ce que vous avez dit sur la communication, qui est un enjeu bien sûr important. Faire des choses, c'est très important, c'est essentiel. Savoir-faire, c'est aussi une question fondamentale, mais faire savoir, ça complète nécessairement les deux précédents principes. Je crois que là-dessus, on a déjà fait beaucoup, mais les perspectives que vous offrez au travers des plateformes, au travers des relations, au travers de la présence sur les réseaux sociaux sont bien sûr très importantes, d'autant plus qu'on va sortir d'une crise sanitaire majeure et qu'il va falloir donner des perspectives à tout le monde. Le monde, à part peut-être quelques grandes régions, va beaucoup douter. Et il faut qu'on puisse reprendre un fil un peu du progrès, d'une prospérité, d'un développement nouveau. Donc tout ça est une présentation exhaustive. Y a-t-il des questions ou des remarques?
Oui, on a deux prises de parole, demande de prise de parole. Il y a Monsieur John Magnar Hogan qui demande à prendre la parole. Mr. Hogan, you have the floor.
Thank you. So my name is Jon Magnar Haugen. I'm a representative for the Norwegian Ministry of Agriculture and Food. And first, I would like to thank you for welcoming us into the consortium since the last meeting. Me, myself, and a few of the other participants in the meeting, I'm familiar with from the Coronivia process that has already been mentioned a few times. And we are sometimes tasked with also representing our countries in that process. And it is very, very well noted that the input from the 4 per 1,000 initiative is a very important contribution into that process where we are dealing together with these important issues as countries and in the negotiating session or setting. So I would just say that it is very well noted, and we would like to encourage you as I can just speak for Norway as a party to that process, but it's very much encouraged to have input from the expertise and the know-how of the 4 per 1,000 initiative into that negotiating process, and that we're moving into a very important year where we are stepping up to the COP26 under the UNFCCC, where we will have to decide upon the future steps on dealing with agriculture in the climate negotiations. So there was a deadline in September originally for submissions for that, but it will obviously be extended. So we could encourage that that any submission and input as to what are the expectations and what signals would you like to give to the Coronivia process would be very much welcomed. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Paul, y a-t-il d'autres interventions?
Yeah, I just would like to answer that we will follow this recommendation, and thank you for Norway for that very, very inspiring and supportive declaration. Oui, il y a Monsieur Thibault Nancy du ministère français de l'Agriculture qui voudrait prendre la parole.
Yes, thank you, Paul, and Mr. President, for giving me the floor. So I'm Thibault Nancy from the French Ministry Ministry of Agriculture. I have, in fact, one remark and one question. My first remark is about communication is very important, and we are supportive of the fact that the internet website, we have already discussed it with Paul, is ongoing on to be better. Let's say that, and we think it's very important to let people and experts know what exactly is going on the ground. So it's very important, and we're very supportive of that. My question is about the regional scale, the regional antennas and the regional ambassadors, which are on 2 points of your document. One is on communication, and the other is on how to implement for the regional ambassadors and the regional antennas. And have you foreseen the financial consequence of the regional antennas? Not that we are against regional antennas, but how do you see the future? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monsieur le Président. Je peux répondre?
Oui, allez-y, Paul, allez-y.
So for that question about the implication that we could have concerning the regional entity, in fact, we would like to have in each region a group of members, organization, countries that are taking the lead to organize a representation in that part of the world. Per se, we don't need to have somebody paid by the Secretariat to do the job there. But if we have regional members of the consortium or partners that are active and would like to develop common activities or make communication about what's going on in the region and so on, I think we can work on that basis. We need to have people in Latin America, we have people in North America, Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Pacific. I think on those bases that would be possible. By chance, we have also, and by construction, we have also one member of the STC or two per continent. So that may help us also to have a scientific checking of what's going on. And we encourage through the regional meeting that we organize to build regional network that we will be able to animate, to help from the Secretariat and with the help of some ambassador at the local level. So our ambition at the beginning is that, and well, if we need in the future to develop more, I would say, administrative entity and representative, maybe we can go, but I don't see the interest for that. The main thing is to work together and develop a regional network. That's the main idea, and the platform could help a lot to do so.
Merci.
Merci, Paul, et merci pour la question avec Nancy. C'est vrai que plus on aura dans des régions du monde des groupes et une réflexion spécifique qui alimente la réflexion collective, mieux la capacité à agir sera forte. Je pense qu'on le sait, en agronomie, en particulier, les conditions pédoclimatiques sont l'élément structurant de la capacité de stockage et de la conduite des cultures. Et je pense que c'est pour ça que c'est très important d'avoir cette, comment dirais-je, organisation décentralisée, je vais dire, mais qui permet justement une réflexion plus globale sur la base du stockage de carbone dans les sols, d'avoir des adaptations possibles. Je pense que c'est ça aussi qui est important derrière ce que l'on vient de dire. Je pense que sur ces questions, il n'y a pas d'autres commentaires ou d'autres prises de parole, Paul?
Non, rien sur mes tablettes.
D'accord. Alors, on va passer aussi, puisque tout ça, ce sont des...
Il faut adopter la feuille de route, Monsieur le Président.
Il faut adopter la feuille de route. Voilà. Donc, on considère qu'elle est adoptée. Elle est adoptée. Et puis, une feuille de route, ça veut dire des initiatives et des réunions. Et pour 2021, il y aura bien sûr à préparer la COP 26. À vous, Paul.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Donc, j'espère que vous voyez mon écran. Cette présentation va être très courte, en fait, parce que, comme vous pouvez vous en douter, beaucoup d'incertitudes planent sur le fait de savoir si nous allons pouvoir nous réunir ou pas l'année prochaine de nouveau en présentiel. J'espère personnellement que oui, comme beaucoup d'entre nous. Mais les choses ne sont pas aussi claires, du moins dans la première partie de l'année. Alors, par chance, j'allais dire, pour l'instant, les dates qui nous sont proposées pour la COP 26 sont la première quinzaine du mois de novembre. Et donc, nous avons prévu de tenir la 6e réunion du forum et la 7e réunion du consortium, donc à travers la 5e journée de l'initiative 4 pour 1000, qu'on espère pouvoir faire donc à Glasgow, au Royaume-Uni l'année prochaine. Et la date proposée pour cette journée serait le 10 novembre. Sachant que, comme nous l'avons fait les autres années, et si on peut se déplacer, nous organiserions le CST, le comité scientifique et technique, les journées d'avant, c'est-à-dire le 8 et le 9 novembre. Voilà pour, j'allais dire, les réunions institutionnelles. Maintenant, il y a aussi la réunion du CST, la prochaine, que nous avons prévu de tenir avant la réunion régionale Amérique latine, dont on reparlera tout à l'heure. Et cette réunion aurait lieu les 10 et 11 mai à Goiânia, au Brésil. Bon, pour l'instant, c'est dans les tablettes. On verra comment les choses se développent. En tous les cas, ce qu'on a déjà prévu de faire avec les organisateurs, et Beata vous le dira mieux que moi tout à l'heure, c'est de commencer à travailler sous forme de webinaires, c'est-à-dire de réunions en ligne, qui vont petit à petit préparer, lancer cette réunion régionale Amérique latine. On y reviendra plus en détail, mais donc ça sera d'ores et déjà dès la semaine prochaine, puisqu'on tiendrait ce premier webinaire le 16 décembre. Donc voilà pour le premier set de réunions. Le deuxième, je l'ai dit, ce sont des réunions régionales qui sont pour l'instant dans les tablettes. Alors on a toujours donc Goiânia au Brésil qui serait en conformité avec le comité scientifique et technique. Donc là, on irait du 12 au 14 mai au même endroit. Il y a toujours dans les tuyaux la possibilité d'organiser une réunion régionale Asie. Bon, on l'avait prévu pour septembre-octobre 2020. On l'a décalé en espérant qu'on pourra le faire en septembre-octobre 2021. L'idée serait de la tenir à New Delhi, en Inde, sur la proposition de certains de nos amis du CIMIT et de l'IRI. À suivre donc, là aussi. Et puis, on avait discuté, notamment dans le cadre du CST, la possibilité de tenir peut-être cette année une réunion régionale Europe, qui n'a pas encore été organisée, même si beaucoup de nos réunions se sont tenues en Europe. C'est aussi un peu pour ça qu'on n'avait pas pensé utile d'en faire une en Europe, mais plus sur la région Europe, avec peut-être une participation plus détaillée de la Commission européenne et de l'Union européenne à cette réunion. Donc là, on est à la recherche d'une date, on est à la recherche de sponsors ou de structures capables de nous accueillir et de nous aider à organiser cette réunion, donc d'un lieu. Et bien évidemment, on est à l'écoute et on attend les propositions qui pourraient nous être faites à ce niveau-là. Voilà tout ce que je peux dire sur ce qu'on prévoit pour l'instant pour l'année prochaine au niveau des réunions.
Merci. Bien sûr que la situation sanitaire obère largement les capacités à définir des agendas précis et des rendez-vous précis. Si je note bien, en tout cas, l'objectif, c'est la COP26 Glasgow au mois de novembre, 10 novembre. Ça, normalement, à moins qu'il y ait d'ici là, décidément, pas d'amélioration, ça devrait quand même être possible. Je pense aussi que les réunions des conseils scientifiques ou régionaux, que ce soit au Brésil, Amérique latine ou Asie, Pacifique avec l'Inde, me paraissent être des sujets aussi très importants. Faut-il que je le répète, la situation sanitaire le permette, mais ça paraît être des sujets importants. Et il va de soi qu'au niveau européen, il y aura un travail à faire aussi, puisqu'il faut que la Commission européenne, à un moment où se négocie une nouvelle politique agricole commune, puisse intégrer avec le Parlement de manière plus claire l'enjeu du stockage de carbone dans les sols. Et donc, il paraîtrait aussi, bien sûr, important de prévoir une réunion un peu plus scientifique et sur les mesures potentielles à mettre en œuvre sur le stockage de carbone en Europe. Ça me paraît aussi. Donc, les propositions sont les bonnes. Après, il restera à faire le point en début d'année prochaine pour savoir comment la Covid nous laisse ou pas la possibilité de les organiser. Y a-t-il des propos, enfin, des remarques sûrement? Est-ce qu'il y a des choses à dire sur le sujet?
Alors, il y a 2 demandes de prise de parole. Tout d'abord, Monsieur Jean-François Souzana.
Oui, merci, Monsieur le secrétaire, merci, Monsieur le Président. Je voulais simplement m'inscrire dans le fil d'interventions précédentes qui ont souligné l'enjeu de la COP26, mais aussi l'enjeu de la réforme de la PAC, pour proposer, disons, que nous prenions appui sur les réseaux régionaux, sur les événements qui sont anticipés au regard de la COP26, afin de contacter des représentants des ministères qui sont impliqués dans la définition des inventaires nationaux de gaz à effet de serre et qui sont impliqués également dans, disons, les efforts qui sont faits par chaque pays pour préciser et renforcer les engagements nationaux, les NDC, pour l'accord de Paris sur le climat. Il me semble que le 4 pour 1000 l'initiative est remarquablement positionnée pour faire cette médiation entre des représentants des ministères, des réseaux scientifiques, voire des parties prenantes, afin de renforcer les engagements, leur transparence et la qualité des inventaires. Il me semble que c'est un point qui est critique pour avancer dans la direction du stockage du carbone. C'est aussi un point critique pour l'engagement du secteur privé, puisque cet engagement doit être compatible avec l'effort de rapportage des États. Donc, de ce point de vue, il y a un programme assez ambitieux qu'il faudrait conduire. Nous ne sommes pas tout seuls, nous avons certainement des possibilités de travailler dans ce domaine avec la FAO, avec la Global Research Alliance ou d'autres organisations, mais je crois que c'est un point important de l'agenda dans l'année qui vient et dans les années suivantes. Je vous remercie.
Paul, tu veux dire un mot, non? Je pense que
Non, mais Jean-François a tout à fait raison.
Ouais,
C'est le premier objectif du plan stratégique, hein, ceci étant. Et c'est vrai que dans le calendrier qui nous est imparti, il nous reste un petit bout de l'année 2021 pour effectivement convaincre les pays qui ne l'ont pas déjà fait d'aller dans ce sens. Donc, comme nous l'avons déjà fait l'année dernière, cette année, en début d'année, où nous avons adressé, je ne l'ai pas dit dans le rapport d'activité, c'est vrai que j'aurais dû le dire, nous avons adressé une lettre signée donc, du président et du vice-président à tous les pays membres ou partenaires du 4 pour 1000 pour insister sur le fait de faire en sorte d'avoir dans leur NDC la santé des sols et le carbone organique des sols pris en compte. Et ce travail, effectivement, doit se poursuivre. Monsieur Souzana a tout à fait raison, dans le contexte de la préparation de la COP26 qui a été décalée et que donc nous allons pouvoir poursuivre cette année. Enfin, l'année prochaine, pardon. Nous avons une deuxième demande de prise de parole avec Monsieur Marc Bernard.
Okay, I speak in English. Since several weeks, I'm collaborating more with the colleges of producers. I think for the preparation of the next COP meeting, it is crucial that the producers who are the main actors are well represented. So if I fully support what Jean-François just said, and which is coming out, is international solidarity, but giving advice to politicians, not just from the scientists, but also coming from the producer, I think is key to afterwards for implementation. So we should do everything possible to mobilize that voice and to have a clear offer from producers on the table. An offer not just how much they can do, but how much it will cost and how they think they self can contribute to the monitoring, which also came out yesterday very clearly. that's just an opinion then. I think we should take it on board for the plan 2021 to work on that. Thank you.
Je suis tout à fait d'accord avec cette remarque. C'est d'ailleurs pour ça que hier, on a donné la parole au forum pendant presque une demi-heure à nos amis agriculteurs et qui ont fait remonter quand même des informations assez claires de leurs attentes vis-à-vis de tous les types d'acteurs. Et nous ferons la voie et nous allons continuer ce travail de relation avec les agriculteurs pour le sens que Marc propose. Avec plaisir.
Oui, c'est vrai que c'est très important, surtout qu'il y a beaucoup de choses qui bougent en ce moment. Très bien, on va passer maintenant, s'il n'y a pas d'autres remarques, sur les différentes propositions qui sont faites. Je pense qu'on est tous d'accord. Donc on adopte ces propositions, même si elles devront être précisées, puisque vous avez vu qu'il n'y a pas de date précise, sauf le 10 novembre pour la COP26.
Monsieur le Président, on me signale qu'il y avait une demande de prise de parole qui avait dû m'échapper de la part de Madame Akiko Nagano, qui est la représentante du ministère japonais de l'Agriculture.
Ah, très important. Donc il faut lui donner la parole.
Thank you very much. This is Akiko. It's nice to see you all. I just wanted to really briefly add to my comments from my colleague, John. And I really fully agree with Jean-Francois and what Marc Bernard said about the importance of policy and science interface and the important role of Forpermill there. And just briefly to add to what Marc just mentioned, Forpermill, I mean, the farmers' voices are of course important, but that really is not always enough to change the world. You really need to influence the entire food system, and that's something I really want you guys to think about. Because in order for farmers to contribute to the world food security, they really need to sell their products. And in order to have their products sold, it's really important to involve the consumers and the entire food supply chain. So that's something I really want you to think about. Thank you very much.
You're right, Akiko. We need to have in consideration the farmers, but also if they want to leave, they need to sell the product, and we need to also consider what's behind the supply chain, and then all the consumer and their request. Yes, but that is why also it's important, and we are working on the fact to associate all the stakeholders to our work, because it's important to have not only one voice, but to have the voice of all the actors and the stakeholders in order to make a synthesis and make each other work together. So thank you very much, Akiko, for this remark.